Hey everyone, this is Randy from BibleBuyingGuide.com. Today I'm taking a look at the Chronological Life Application Study Bible 2nd edition. This was sent to me from Tyndale, and so this is a refresh of their original edition. So they have quite a few new things in here. So they've sent me, so what color we got here? This is the Heritage Oak Brown Leatherlike. And as you can see here, it is printed in China. There is all the information for it. So let's take a look. The oak brown leatherlike. That looks good. I like that. It looks like an oak tree. I mean, you're not going to think it is really, but it does have that look to it. Looks like the tree rings, and that goes across front and back. So that looks interesting. There's our spine. So it's dry stamped or debossed. So it is a paste down liner, vinyl, sewn binding. I think that's 30 GSM paper, but I could be wrong. It's not something I would argue about, but I think that's what it is. And then we have our content. And then in the front, we have a canonical table of contents. This is so that you can actually read the Bible in order if you wanted to. So it'll give you, it's an index. So you look up the book name and the chapters you're looking for, and it gives you the page number. Since the biblical text is presented in chronological order, this is a good way to find any specific verse that you're looking for. Now, the chronology is a little bit tedious to read if you've never read chronologically before. I do find it interesting. Also, at the same time, we don't always know exactly where things fit chronologically. So there are going to be some places where you might have some arguments one way or another, where something is placed or where it should be placed. So it's not exactly perfect. But overall, I do feel like it is a good chronological study Bible. The thing is, it can be tedious to read that way. So just keep that in mind. So it includes a chronological survey of the Bible. It gives you the larger periods with dates. Just a survey gives you an idea of the overall timeline. And then gives us a timeline. Complete biblical timeline, full color. This is pretty. I like the color in this. I like the color a lot. Looks really good. Paper's easy to turn. Almost a little bit coated, I think. But I'm not 100% sure. It's not too rough, but at the same time I can separate the pages. So it's not too smooth. I like it. Fairly opaque too. Where there's a lot of color, it will have some show through. So instead of book introductions, you're going to find those in the back. We have introductions to the eras. So this is the in the beginning timeline. And then it's going to include the main overview story, the people, the culture, a timeline, the books that are included in this section, the dates, if they're known, and the main themes. Then a map with mega themes, and then the books that are in this section with a little bit more information. That's pretty. And then here is the text. So we have about a 9-point font, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but that looks to be around a 9-point. And it does have a lot of words per line. It looks really good. It's not line matched, I don't think, because you have so much on the page, you can't really line match that. That would be difficult. But it doesn't have a lot of show through in the text, so it is easy enough to read. And all the formatting is here for the NLT. And then we have commentary, just like a regular study Bible. And then if you're familiar with the Life Application Study Bible, then you're going to be familiar with the kinds of content that is here. It's going to have overviews of events. It's going to have personality profiles, a lot of things along that line. And for the most part, I do think they're well written and they're really good. They've refreshed the notes with a strong focus on the Jewish heritage. So there's a personality profile, and it gives us an outline as we go. So it builds an outline in the text itself. The text can be a little bit difficult to read because of so many things here. So this is not necessarily one that I would recommend just for reading. But if you're interested in studying, it's especially good. A lot of archaeological background information. A lot of historical information. There's a lot here. It's almost overwhelming how much is here. In fact, I actually found it a little difficult to review because there's so much here. And if you know anything about the way I review, I like to spend a lot of time with a product before reviewing it. I don't just jump in there. I like to use it a lot. And there's so much in here to use, it's really hard to dig in. Epic of Gilgamesh. There's a lot here. Across the top we have the timeline for the different eras of time, and it shows you where we are. So it highlights the one we're in, and it tells you what they all are and gives you the dates for them. Lots of charts. There's the names of God. Lots of good charts all through this. It's amazing what all is here. So here's the next section, God's chosen people, and it includes Genesis and Job. A little bit more information about each of the books. And we just continue. And it does just place the text within chronological order. So you're going to have text that overlaps. So in this case, we have all of Genesis, and then we have Job. And some books are going to overlap a little bit more than that. You're going to go back and forth, especially in the Gospels. You'll see this. And one issue that I have with reading it is that in the Gospels, you'll end up seeing the same information a lot because of the way the Gospels are written. So here is the poetry. Now you do see a lot of lines with a single word or just a few words because they'll just go all the way to the edge and then just wrap. That's the easy way to do it. So I understand why they do that. So here we have the birth of Israel. I find the commentary interesting. It's all well written to the same level as the regular Life Application Study Bible, and a lot of the same information. It's just that it's expanded a little bit. And this expands on the previous Chronological Study Bible by more color, more images, refreshing the notes a little bit. Not everything has changed, but a lot of it is. Divided kingdom. We have exile. Now, when we get to the New Covenant, we have a couple of charts. We have a timeline between the Old and New Testament. Very interesting timeline. And then an overall overview of what's going on. And then the New Testament. And then here is the introduction to this section with Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts. So here's where we're going to see some of the same stories overlap. It also has a lot of charts. Lots of charts all the way through this. I've not even been pointing out very many of them. There are lots of charts all the way through this. These are really good. Really good study information. Lots of tables. Just filled with information. Lots of information on the Jewish background. A little bit of information here and there. December Dilemma. Christmas and Hanukkah compared. Here's an example of going back and forth between one book and another. We have Matthew, and then we have Luke. Then we go back to Matthew. It's just the story, so it's going to do that. But it can be just a little bit overwhelming maybe, or a little bit tedious because of sometimes you're reading the same thing multiple times. A little bit of a timeline here giving us dates. Pretty pictures. I love the photography in this. I like archaeology and I like biblical manuscripts. So we do see a lot of photos and a lot of information like that. Lots of info. And the Messiah's people. And this is going to cover the other books. Parts of Acts. So the Messiah's people includes Acts through Revelation. Lots of maps. Yeah, this is just filled with information. Excellent information. I've enjoyed using this. Not as easy to read chronologically, so just keep that in mind. But there's a lot of information here. And then all the way here in the back, then we have a few more resources in the back. We have Story of Redemptive History, Covenants and Their Signs, Glossary of Jewish Terms. Now it's a short glossary, but it's going to focus on terms in Hebrew. And a lot of this is words that we hear but not necessarily know what they mean. And then suggested reading for the Jewish year. And this is an interesting reading. It gives us the reading name, what it is in English, then the references from the Torah, and then from the Haftarah, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, and then the New Testament. So that'll take us through the Bible. A resource for sharing and growing our faith. This is a lot of questions and answers and a lot of things that we face. It's how to deal with situations, how to help others learn, how to grow ourselves. A lot of good information in there. And then the Bible book by book. This is the book introductions for each book of the Bible. We can't put them in the text because they're not printed in as a book because they overlap. So rather than leave that information out, they put it in the back. So every book of the Bible has the introduction back here. And it includes a short write-up with a blueprint, so it gives you some information, mega themes. The blueprint includes an annotated outline and then mega themes. And that's it for the book introductions. So I'm glad to see that they didn't have to remove them completely. Good information to have. Master Index. So this is all the people, places, events, that sort of thing. Topics. And then it gives you the topic name and then a subtopic within that. And then it gives you the verse numbers and page number. This is for the study notes, where you're going to find that information in the notes. Quite a bit here. It's a pretty decent index. This is really good for personal study and even sermon prep. Then we have a features index. Now this is an index, several different indexes. It includes the charts, tells you what they are, gives you the page number, and then index to maps. This is the maps within the text. Index to personality profiles, archaeological notes, articles, and illustrations. And then we have a dictionary concordance. It's not very small either. That's a good sized concordance. But it's a dictionary concordance. So instead of giving you just the references, it gives you a definition and then the references. And it includes people, which I prefer. I like it when they include people. Lots of good information in there. And 19 full color maps on 16 pages. This is thick semi-gloss paper. Lots of color annotations. It does not include an index to these maps, but they are annotated well. Lots of good information on these. So that is my look at the Life Application Chronological Study Bible. Let's weigh it and measure it real quick. 6 7/8 by 9.5. I'm going to call that 1 7/8. It weighs 3 pounds, 12.8 ounces. So that is my quick look at the Chronological Life Application Study Bible from Tyndale in the NLT. This is a very interesting Bible. I enjoyed using it. This one is not a filament edition, so we don't have filament information, but it does have a lot of chronological information, a lot of archaeological information, life application information, lots of full color everything, and then lots of cultural backgrounds. So there's a lot of information in this. I like it a lot, and I highly recommend it. Just keep in mind, chronological reading can be a little difficult. But if you keep that in mind, then this would be a very good study Bible. Like all study Bibles, use the information and do your own study. Tyndale did supply us in exchange for an honest review. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll place links in the notes so that you can make a purchase if you're interested. And also a link to the written review at BibleBuyingGuide.com. and thanks for watching.